Good afternoon. My name is Angela Beltran, and today we're going to be talking about how to conduct effective meetings. So have you ever been in the workplace and you have a meeting and you left unsatisfied or felt like it was a complete waste of your time? So today we're going to be talking about some tools that you can utilize to making meetings successful and more efficient with your employees. Today we'll be talking about why meetings are necessary to begin with. We're going to define what a meeting is. We'll be discussing different types of meetings. We'll define what an agenda is and how it helps with the success and effectiveness of meetings. We'll discuss tools and techniques on making these meetings effective, things that we can do for ourselves, as far as the agenda goes, for our employees as well, people who are involved in the meeting. And we'll be discussing how to deal with behaviors that may limit or hinder the success or the effectiveness of these meetings. So why do we need meetings? So there are different types of meetings. There are different reasons why we need meetings. Most common ones are to solve problems, to make decisions, to gather or provide information, team building, and feedback. So this is all really important in the workplace because a lot of times there are problems that come about, so anytime we need to resolve some sort of issue, certain teams of employees or management can come together. When it comes to making decisions, there are people who need to make decisions as far as leadership goes. For example, people can get together and have meetings to gather or provide information. And team building and feedback is really important for the success of your organization and your employees. So what is a meeting? A meeting, defined by definition, is an assembly of people, especially the members of a society or committee, for discussion or entertainment. So types of meetings, again, we discussed earlier, status updates, information sharing, decision making, problem solving meetings, innovation meetings, and team building. So these are the more common types of meetings that you have. Status updates, employees, if you're discussing as managers with your employees what's going on, statuses of different teams, different departments, information sharing, if there's information or any changes to your department, any changes to your company that you need to discuss with your employees, you're able to do that with the important people that necessarily need to be involved in the meeting. Decision making as well, problem solving meetings, any issues that come about. Innovation meetings, this gives your employees the opportunity to bounce ideas around. So any sort of innovation that needs to be taken place, your employees can talk about that. You can come up with some creative plans and ideas. And team building as well gives you opportunities to build relationships, not only but amongst your employees, but managers and employees as well. So what is an agenda? An agenda is a list of meeting activities in the order in which they are to be taken up. So it informs participants of the intended purpose of the meeting and allows for contribution. So the agenda is a very important and crucial part of an effective meeting. This is going to provide you with a purpose and an outline. You're able to not only have this for yourself, but you're able to have it for every participant in the meeting. This is important for them to have because it's going to outline every objective that you have. They're able to see it in front of them, and they're able to make their own contributions as well as take notes, things of that nature. Sort of gives them a pattern, lets them know how long you'll be discussing each objective and so on, sort of like an outline. And it makes for a very, very effective meeting because it is very easily, you can get distracted and veer off into something else, different discussions, other subjects. So an agenda helps you stay on track and keep focused on what's important and necessary. So tools for effective meetings. Consider first if the meeting is necessary or not. This is really important because the last thing that you want to do is waste your time in sitting around in a meeting thinking, well, why did I even have to be there? This is something that we could have discussed one-on-one or maybe in a smaller setting, a smaller group. So it's very important to establish whether or not you even need that meeting to begin with. Once, of course, you figure out, okay, we need to have a meeting, establish what the purpose of the meeting will be. This is also very important to save time and energy for your employees as well as yourself. Make sure only the people who need to be there are there. and let them know in advance of when and where the meeting will take place. This, again, is very important because the last thing that you want to do is waste time for people in the meeting that don't necessarily need to be there. So if it's a leadership meeting, you need to make leadership decisions. Obviously, the people that are going to be in this meeting are going to be part of the leadership team. It's very important that you let them know when and where it will take place so that way they can plan accordingly to be there. You want to use time wisely. Again, you want to follow your agenda. This is very important. And you want to discuss what's important, and you want to allow for feedback. Again, this allows your employees, you can get ideas, you can even ask your employees in an evaluation form if the meeting was effective or not, so that way you know for future reference what you're doing wrong or what you're doing great, and you can continue to do. So how to deal with disruptive or distracting behavior. So you want to allow for equal amounts of talking time. And if someone is being disruptive, let them know everyone has a chance to speak given their turn. You also want to allow a dominant speaker to speak, but acknowledge the other people in the meeting and ask if anyone else has something to say. You want to establish ground rules at the onset of the meeting, and you want to establish a mediator or a meeting leader. So this is really important, someone to kind of guide and direct. Most likely it will be you as a manager. You will be leading and guiding the meeting, but you also want to make sure it's very important to be participative, and you want to make sure that everyone in your meeting is able to communicate and speak. So if you have someone who's speaking a lot, just sort of give another person in the meeting an opportunity to speak. So just to ask if there's anything else anyone wants to add, things of that nature, and it will help for alleviating distracted behavior. So in conclusion, we discussed why meetings are important, and it's because they give your employees a chance to come together. You can discuss problems, you can make important decisions. It helps with team building. You're able to build relationships with your employees and their employees amongst each other. There are tools that you can use to make your meetings run smoothly. Again, your agenda is very, very important. And distractions happen. We always have to anticipate that we may get distracted or we may veer off subject. Again, if we just follow that agenda and if we stick to what's important, then we can have a very successful and satisfying meeting to our employees as well. And that's it. Thank you.